Welcome back to the Sydney Football Stadium, the elimination semi-final. It is described as the minor semi-final, but in the minds of both Brisbane and North Sydney, it is very much the major semi-final, because at the end of this weekend, another one drops out. The crowd waiting now for the Bears and the Broncos. Of course, if you look at the statistics, they probably don't mean a great deal, but head-to-head since 1988, Brisbane have had by far and away the better of it. The 94 meetings as North Sydney comes out, and North's won in Brisbane, then Brisbane beat them at North Sydney Oval. The Bears coming down the tunnel. Canberra gave it to them last weekend. They're sour on that. They know they blew it. And Taylor takes them out now. Sudden death semi-final in front of them. Great atmosphere at Rugby League headquarters. Sears, Hall, Cleary, Caruana. It's unchanged. Hoppy, Florimo, Taylor, Hearn, Soden, Fenwick, Larson, Fairley and Moore. And now the Broncos haven't been beaten here at the SFS in the last 4 years. That's impressive. Their finals record stands alongside any of the great sporting teams. They're more composed today. Almost back to its right balance, the team. Kerrod is back, and Madison goes back where he belongs. Chris McKenna is out injured. There's the team. From the back, O'Neill, Hancock, Renouf, Johns, Saylor. Kevin Walters, Langer, G. Walters, Allen, Hone, Can and Madison. Beautiful day in Sydney after torrential rain last night. Has it had any effect on the playing surface, Steve Roach?
No, it hasn't. Tremendous crowd here. As you said, this is the biggest crowd we've had for the semi-final series. The ground in great condition. I noticed a couple of Brisbane Broncos came out before the game, checked if they needed the long speed. There was no need for that. You can wear your rubbers. No one's slipping over in the earlier grades.
Steve Roach on the sidelines. Peter Sterling and Paul Vaughton in the box with Phil Gould. Bill Harrigan in the centre. Smile on his face. Exuding confidence as Brisbane starts. Right to left for the Broncos. And immediately Soden sends it back to the Rothmans medal winner David Fairley. Heavy tackle on Fairley, the first tackle of the game. And now it's with Sean Hoppy as Langer moves in with Mark Hone. Langer's tackling style again coming under the microscope during the week as Soden is pulled down by Langer. Gavin Allen coming in over the top as Taylor goes to dummy half, and Larson it is, playing against many of his state of origin teammates across the 20-metre line. They go to the blind for Florimo. Florimo is tackled, and we're now at the end of the first set of six. The first set of six of the sudden death semi-final. The kick off the right foot of Taylor, bouncing down inside the 20-metre line, just beating Julian O'Neill. He brings it away from his 10-metre point and comes to the 20, and he's met by Florimo's chase in company with Fairley.
That's a great start from North Sydney. Greg Florimo must get involved in this football game. He's already made one strong charge. The kick chase was outstanding. When O'Neill picked the football up, he had a sea of red and black in front.
So now it's Mark Hone. Lazarus still on the bench for the Broncos. This pack of forwards, Wayne Bennett happy to run with them. 32 metres away from their own line, the Broncos. Both these teams were involved in a torrid first 28 minutes last weekend. In fact, both matches were deadlocked at 0-0 after 28 minutes. And then the gates opened in favour of Canberra and in favour of Brisbane, as Taylor comes back to the 40-metre line to be tackled. And the call comes from Caruana to take it out. Caruana singled out for his own special criticism for his mistake in last weekend's semi-final, but I wonder what anybody would have done placed under the same pressure. He's a good young player with a bright future. Billy Moore plays at 45 out from the Brisbane line, and Soden scampers away from dummy half, ducked under the tackle there of Alan Can, and gets it 31 metres away from the Brisbane line. I must say, Norths at North Sydney Oval in round 21, they looked overawed by the occasion against Brisbane. Their start today doesn't indicate that, but having said that, they turned the ball over, and Hancock is with it.
Well, they already look better than last week, North Sydney. They're throwing the ball around and they're running hard. Mark Soden, nice little dart from dummy half. But the mistakes and mistake upon mistake now as they give away the penalty. And this is just what Brisbane needed to relieve the pressure that's been on them.
So the kick for line will be taken by Julian O'Neill. Shooting for touch on the sunny side of the stadium as the shadows lengthen from the broadcast side. And Kerrod Walters, viral meningitis. It can be a very serious disease. I just wonder whether Kerrod's going to get the 80 minutes coming back off that illness, as Gavin Allen plays the ball now, 28 metres out from the line, and Mark Hone takes the first attacking surge of Brisbane towards the North Sydney line. Here they are, crossing the 20 and turning it back for Madison, and Soden's underneath and Fenix over the top. As Kerrod Walters goes into dummy half, looks for the playmaker and finds him. He rolls it in behind them, and Matt Sears comes out from full back. Well read by the youngster. So North Sydney turning the Broncos away on the first occasion that they've embraced them inside their own 20-metre line. The sudden death semi-final. The winner continues on to meet the loser of tomorrow as David Fairley is thumped down. 21 metres out from his own line, 4 minutes gone. As Soden goes across to the right and finds Tony Hearn. 5 tackles gone, and really they haven't made a lot of progress. 30-metre line, they kick off that. Soden bounces it over the line, down on the Brisbane 30-metre line. Phil Gould joins us in the commentary box today.
Yeah, very subdued start by Brisbane. They'll be hoping that North Sydney start on a bit of emotion and wear themselves out with nervous energy. Last week, North Sydney began very quickly, but as the half wore on, Canberra were able to come up with some tries. Brisbane, similar tactics today. Very, very non-committal early, just playing out their sets of 6.
I do think we'll continue to see that ploy of Mark Soden kicking out of the dummy half area. A lot of pressure coming through on Jason Taylor already in this game on the last tackle. Nice to have a dummy half who can kick the football. Everybody's immediately onside.
So Brisbane quite expectedly winning the scrum, and Saylor comes in around the second receiver to take play out of the 30-metre line, loses his shoe in doing so, and Renouf is tackled, escaping with only a fright really out of his tackle on Jack Elsgood. He came out of it with the judiciary on his side during the week on Thursday. The ball played by Kerrod Walters, back for Langer. He goes to the right and runs the ball into the arms of Alan Cann, 40 metres out. And now it's away from Walters again, and this is Madison. Madison just missing a pretty heavy tackle that was aimed for him from Mario Fenech. Gary Larson made the tackle. Langer keeps it low, looks for the sideline. The North Sydney fullback watches it across the line. And he's in fine form at the moment, Alan Langer. Steve Roach on the sideline.
Yes, I don't think there'll be long before there's a blow-up. Gavin Allen and Mario Fenech already into it. Mario tried to take Gavin Allen's loose. He didn't appreciate it.
So this scrum will go down 10 metres away from the North Sydney line. North Sydney then. They've got to work it out from deep inside their own territory. They got 30 metres up the park last time. Let's see what they can do this time, as Billy Moore, who went into last weekend under an emotional cloud. He lost his mother 3 days prior to the match. And that must have been a drain on Billy Moore. And here they are now, just outside the 20-metre line with the big fella, David Fairley, to play it. There's Billy back, having taken his turn on this set of 6. Florimo, he gets it up towards the 30-metre point. He's grasped in the centre of the park. And Soden goes into dummy half. They've done a fraction better. In fact, they've done much better as Larson finds Sears. Sears, he's got a big motor if he gets into the clear. Inside the 30, out for Hoppy. He angles back. 20 metres out from the Brisbane line. Soden now, they've got to go quick left. Taylor does that, long ball out for Fenech. On for Larson, the man who provided the break. Now it's out wide. Oh! He bounces over. It's Greg Florimo. It's a try, is it? Yes!
It is.
The Bears, they get the first.
Oh, and people said that they couldn't attack with the football. Gary Larson involved in 2 movements, Great work also from Fennick. This set it up. A lovely short ball from Hearn. Larson not wrapped up high, and Matt Sears, the speed man, beat Julian O'Neill. Threw the cutout pass to Sean Hoppy, who ran out of space. Good cover from Wendell Saylor. Lost his footing there, and as Ray pointed out, they had to go left. Great work here from Mario Fennick.
Yeah, wonderful play, and once again Larson involved. Greg Florimo, he's a player we said had to get involved, and momentum carries him over there. Nothing you can do about that. That's a great try to North Sydney. But Brisbane have got one problem in their defence, and that's when a team puts a short passing game against them on the edge of the rucks. And North Sydney, Peter Louis done his homework. He's found that early, and a beautiful ball from Hearn to put Larson into space. They did that in the first round when North beat Brisbane at where do they play?
Oh, up north.
Yeah, ANZ Stadium, that's the one.
But one of the most confident things I've seen from North Sydney was the fact from the scrum win on their own line, they threw the 2 passes across to Caruana under the post. That immediately got them to centre field, which is where you want to attack from. And 6 rucks later, Jason Taylor looking to convert the try from Florimo.
And it's not a bad-looking kick, but just grazing outside the uprights. So North Sydney take first blood. 8 minutes gone. Their former captain smiles. It's 4-0, the Bears over the Broncos. Julian O'Neill with the restart. And down deep onto the line, and Soden puts his winger Sean Hoppy back out towards the 20-metre line. Hearn. Plenty of torque there from North Sydney. David Hall. Good run. So North Sydney on the first set of 6 following the restart are down to the halfway line, and they get a penalty.
And it was only a matter of time. Those quick play the balls by North Sydney are catching Brisbane. They haven't got time to get back to 10 metres. Good play. Just have a look here. None of them are on. They're all offside. Every one of them, except the fullback.
Much more positive start from North Sydney, and they're working down short sides as well, making sure that the speed men from the Brisbane side are making plenty of tackles. Billy Moore noticeably has run at Kevin Walters and Steve Renouf on a couple of occasions, and that time Soden and Hall looking down the short side for backs to make tackles.
So another chance here for North Sydney, and they are only 10 metres out from the line as Hearn, a hit and spin, Soden away, Taylor is with it, taken to ground by Langer. Still 11 metres from the line, a golden opportunity away to Fennick, and Fennick onto Moore, and Moore onto Caruana, Caruana for Hall, and Hall is put down 10 metres out still. The Broncos under siege at the moment as Taylor gives a pass across for Larson. Larson goes down under the tackle of Madison. He plays the ball, still a couple left, and it goes away for Taylor and then for Fairley. Fairley inside for Florimo. A high tackle by Langer. That went sadly wrong. Then Sears. He gets a pass away, a miracle pass away for Billy Moore. Moore tried to get a pass out but couldn't. The last tackle is with us. Soden goes to the left. It's with Taylor. He shaped a kick and then passed on the bounce. It's with David Hall. Hall, he's in. He's over. Another try. David Hall has scored! North's second try!
Well, they've started this game off in great fashion. David Hall had some work to do. Last tackle, you would expect him to kick Jason Taylor. Not much North Sydney defence there. The pass went behind Hall. He got a good bounce, and he's got great speed, this kid. Out of the clutching tackle of Michael Hancock to score in the corner.
Well, Brisbane are in shock. They don't know what's happening here. Mick Hancock had to stay back on his line to protect for the kick, and David Hall, too much speed, got around him. Great work, North Sydney.
It was a very well-constructed set of 6. I mean, they came in from the tap play, took it to the middle, tested them over on the right-hand side, brought it back to the middle, tested them on the left-hand side, took it back to the middle, give them another workout on the right, and then on the last tackle, Taylor opted for the run the ball instead of kicking. They really gave both sides of the defensive system a massage there and came up with an overlap on the end of it. A nicely constructed set of 6 from North Sydney, and a great positive start. It's what they've got to do to beat the Broncos.
And as you pointed out, Paul, they got the penalty. The quick play, the balls have been great in this first 10 minutes, 12 minutes. That earned them the penalty. Another set of 6. Another tough conversion for the North's captain and halfback.
Nothing beyond him, though. One of the great strikers, Taylor from the sideline, but that he's pushed it out too wide. So 2 tries and no conversions And we've only had 12 minutes. North Sydney leading Brisbane 8-0.
And this is why running the football is a great play on the last tackle, because you're up against a short line. The opposition expect you to kick. And Taylor threw the long pass. The bounce was a fortunate one.
I'd have thought Mick Hancock might have done a little bit better there, Pete.
The restart, and David Fairley goes back. A great week for David Fairley, as I mentioned earlier. The Rothmans medal firmly around his neck. On Tuesday night, of course, it did usher in a brand new controversy for rugby league, but that shouldn't worry David Fairley. That's for certain. Played by Billy Moore. Alan Cann is getting up very slowly. The Brisbane second rower has got a problem. And they're midway between the 20 and the halfway. The Bears, as they go back, their confidence as a team is now sky high. They've been able to get outside Brisbane's defence and put the ball over twice. O'Neill comes back and is met by Larson. Cann is being taken from the field, so, and looking at him, I don't think Alan Cann will be back, and that puts Glenn Lazarus into the game. As Mark Hone gets to within about 3 metres of the halfway line, and look at the pain on the face of Alan Cann.
That is a big blow, despite the fact that Lazarus comes into the game. Alan Cann, one of their better performers last week. Some strong defence there from Chris Caruana. But they'll miss Alan Cann's powerful running and his strong defence.
Gavin Allen now takes the Brisbane attack. On the 5th tackle, 5 metres into North Sydney's area. They go wide for Langer to kick, and he does that, tries to get it behind Hoppy. He succeeds, but it's not going to go over the line. As you can see, Sean Hoppy had plenty of time, plenty of comfort, and he gave it to Matt Sears to be tackled 15 out from his line by Terry Madison. Taylor the dummy half, and across they go now, looking for the centre, Ivan Cleary, who came in to take the run. The enthusiasm is high for North Sydney. They all want a part of the action, and Fenwick particularly. Fenwick has handled in both the tries, and even though he might have been considered a fraction wide for the job he's supposed to be doing, his part was very significant.
And the back row for North Sydney have been much more involved as well, Ray, especially with the football. We know that they're going to do plenty of tackling, but it's been noticeable that Billy Moore, Gary Larson, they've really been getting involved in the attack. As Cleary tries to get outside, ran off the inside pass to Hoppy.
Hoppy almost to the halfway line. 5 tackles gone for the Bears. David Hall and Greg Florimo both over the line. No conversions. 8-0 if you've just joined it. And it's North Sydney in front. North Sydney by 8-0 as Julian O'Neill comes back 15 metres out from his own line. Julian probably thinking that Brisbane are going to need some of the guts and the tenacity of his girlfriend, who's done so well in Rome during the week. And now it's the run around for Kevin Walters. And now Michael Hancock. Look who's covering, Fairley and Hearn. But Hancock gets away from both, but they've called it back for a forward pass.
Yes, Harrigan wasn't too well positioned there, so the touch judge has ruled on that one and called back. But great cover defence by North Sydney, wasn't it? Kevin Walters gets a nice ball from Saylor. Here's the one, he holds it up, he's tackled. And this is the pass that ruled forward, and that's a good decision by the touch judge.
Steve Roach on the sidelines. How bad is the news on Alan Cann?
Yeah, ankle ligaments for Alan Cann. He won't be back. Also, Peter Ryan warming up for the Broncos.
All right, thank you, Steve. We're in the centre of the ground, 30 metres out from the Brisbane line. And the Bears get another opportunity as Florimo starts to test them out on the left of the ground. He takes the tackle, and North start to prepare on the right, deep. And plenty of personnel as Taylor finds Fenwick. Fenwick goes across to the centre of the park, and he has to succumb to the tackle. There wasn't a runner on offer. Madison made the tackle. Taylor comes in, then gives a short ball away for Hearn, and he's held and made to play the ball about 15 metres out from the Brisbane line. Hearn, who's been able to keep Gavin Jones on the bench, Soden away. Taylor switches it back to the blind for Fairley, and then Fairley looks for Matt Sears coming off his hip, and Sears is there. But he's put away by a bombardment of Brisbane defence. 11 metres out from the Brisbane line on 5. So this is the last. Taylor's going to switch it around this time. He puts the kick in, but that comes out at the 20-metre line, marked on the full by O'Neill.
That was a really poor choice from Jason Taylor. Mark Hone was actually on the far side of the field. Michael Hancock's wing receiving attention. He's still receiving attention now on the try line. That's where Taylor had to go. Over there, Hancock had been forced to come into the centres.
Well, Mark Hone has got a problem. I think Mark wears contact lenses, does he not? Yes, he does, and one of them has come out. And that has, for the moment, taken him out of the game. I've got to say, from the restart on the 20-metre line, Bill Harrigan was very, very lax in not giving a penalty to Brisbane. He's got Norths now for what I was talking about, as Langer takes a quick tap, and the Brisbane halfback takes it 35 metres out from the North Sydney line. Walters is the dummy half, and Madison is the ball carrier. Allen it is. Gavin Allen will play the ball. 28 out now from the North Sydney line. Fennick has come off, and they're pointing anxiously to Gavin Jones to get out there. But Brisbane have coughed it up anyway.
Well, that's incredible. They've only had 12 players out there for a couple of rucks. You can't afford to defend against Brisbane 30 metres out with one player down when you don't have to be.
Just watching the sideline antics down there with Mario Fennick screaming at, I don't know whether it's the replacement or whether in fact it's the touch judge. Mario's saying, what the hell are we doing with 12 men? Blood streaming from his face, of course.
What's happening down there, Block?
Yeah, it's a blood bin for Mario Fennick, but I'll tell you what, he's upset about coming off. He wanted to stay out there.
Yeah, well, the team has been disadvantaged. Not now, though. Jones is on the paddock now as Taylor puts in a deep kick. Hall is coming fast, and O'Neill goes back. In fact, he ambled back for it. He comes off the 20-metre line. Taylor leads the chase down the ground, puts everybody on side.
Very important time now for the Bears. We've been going 20 minutes. There was always going to be an emotional letdown after that great start. The game's settling down, starting to string together some passes. The Broncos now. Here's Johns.
Johns losing his footing, and Hancock fell on the same blade of grass almost. Right on the halfway line, 8 points to 0 in favour of North Sydney. Representative of 2 tries, but of course they would know better than anybody. They're playing against the Broncos, and you've never got them beaten until the full-time siren sounds. Mark Hone, he's okay again, and he's brought down 40 out from the opponent's line. Plenty of players on the blind side, and Kerrod Walters comes that way, picks up Madison, who finds Saylor. Saylor gets it back for Kerrod Walters, outside for Renoff, and Renoff is put away jointly there by Soden and Larson. 5 tackles gone just beyond the 20-metre line for Langer now to kick again. He goes to the air and decides to test Matt Sears. He'll take it comfortably. No, he's put it down. And Brisbane get a hand to it, and they get a try. Well, Matt Sears, he had a mile of time, and he has put it down cold.
And disappointing for North Sydney fans. It's a very difficult take, this. Alan Langer, I think it's come off the inside of his boot, but Saylor chasing through, put some pressure on. Sears had a mile of time, but unfortunately just too hard to take for him. Didn't know where it went.
The worst thing for Matt Sears that when he dropped the football, he didn't know where the ball had bounced. Langer, he kicks back towards Saylor's wing, who had actually gone on the far side, so it wasn't a planned move. His winger, that he would have been kicking forward, actually gone to the open side of the paddock. There's no doubt Saylor got the hands down. A great chase from Saylor because he had to change direction to get there. That meant covering extra ground.
Well, the pictures told the story. I mean, it looked as though Matt Sears had a mile of time. He did have a mile of time, but he has just made a mistake. 13 tries for the season then for Wendell Saylor.
Good test for North Sydney too. I mean, they've had a genius start to the game. They don't want to go trying to protect the lead because 8 points isn't going to be enough to win. And with the setback last night, we saw last week that when Canberra had a little bit of luck, they conceded 3 tries in the space of 10 minutes.
Yeah.
North Sydney have got to hold together here. They've had a good start, but they've got to keep positive with the football. Keep moving it around. Don't try and protect the 2-point lead.
I wonder what is going through the youngster's mind. This will be a test for his character, Matt Sears.
He'll come up.
There he is, the boyish looks amongst the pack. And he shouldn't worry too much because if it wasn't for Matt Sears, they probably wouldn't be here. Gillian O'Neill then, 19 outs and 7 in from touch, 61%. Nowhere near the ranking of the better kickers, and he's hooked this one, so there's no addition. North Sydney then leads Brisbane by 8 points to 4 and about 18 minutes of the first half to go. Taylor then brings it back for the restart. 21 minutes gone. 2 tries to 1, his side in front. But a little crack, and Brisbane, you know what they do with it. They prize it wide open.
That's the beauty of this great Brisbane side.
Second tackle then on the set of 6 following the restart, with Brisbane trailing by 8 points to 4.
Great ability, Brisbane, in staying unflappable in tough situations. That's a great tackle, Florimo and Gavin Allen. But before that try scored by the Broncos, you could see it was building up. They were starting to get away passes in tackles, and that's got to be your first priority playing Brisbane, is stopping the man with the football and not letting him offload.
Glenn Lazarus then, about 5 metres on his side of the halfway. He plays it back for Kerrod Walters to go looking for Alan Langer. He puts it high in the air, and it might beat them to the sideline. Sears is shadowing it, and he had to take the pass because Hancock was storming down the ground together with Chris Johns, and jointly they make the tackle. And so North Sydney find themselves back inside their own 10-metre line. They've just been able to break that point through Chris Caruana. They go across the field, and Gavin Jones is out there at the moment for Mario Fennick, who's in the blood bin.
I'm just wondering if Coach Peter Louis will bring Mario back onto the field when the blood bin session is over. I would if I was coach, because he was just playing great football. He was going forward. His passing game was good.
Here's a chance for Brisbane, Paul, as Johns swoops on a loose pass. They're on the 20-metre line, and of course they're on their first tackle. They come to the left. Madison it is, looking for the players inside, and it's with Walters, and Kerrod will play the ball. In fact, it's Kevin playing it back to Kerrod. They come across for Gavin Allen to go inside the 10-metre line, only fractionally, and put away by Hearn and by Soden. Kerrod Walters a dummy half. Over for Alan Langer. Hone gives him a decoy run, and Lazarus takes it to within 5 metres of the line. So Langer is standing on the right of the park, and O'Neill is coming up on his inside. The pass goes for O'Neill, but it goes forward.
Well, little Alfie, always dangerous in that 10-metre zone there close to the line. He went to the line, he half-pie got through it. The inside ball to O'Neill, some strong defence there, forced the mistake.
So let off there for North Sydney. If Langer gets that pass away sweetly, there is just no way they could have stopped Julian O'Neill. 8 points to 4 then. The Bears in front. Very much the outsiders in this game today. Caruana took the role of 5'8", and Florimo took the role of centre, and Cleary takes it down to the 40-metre line. The Bears, 40 metres of ground on one tackle. Caruana put away on the halfway line. The crowd roar their disapproval. Brisbane inside the 10, they say. And then it's Taylor to Larson, but the Brisbane defence, he put him in the sandwich and belted him.
And he dropped it.
Kerrod Walters out for Renouf. They're sweating on him today. They know that he can score a try from out in the car park, really. Kerrod Walters now, and Julian O'Neill comes up to take a run to the halfway line.
That still count?
I suppose it would have to, as Kerrod Walters goes out looking for big Lazarus, and here he is. And Lazarus had his own problems during the week, controversial as they might have been. And he made the point that with them out of the road in the courts of law, that he could concentrate on getting this job done today. Langer gets between them, then a miraculous pass for Hancock. Hancock gets it away, and Walters snatches at it and puts it down.
And little Alan Langer, he's cutting loose here, got on the outside of a big prop forward in Gavin Jones. And Jones is no match pace-wise. Look at him, straight around him. The support came through Hancock. And this is a try. T-R-Y written all over this through Kerrod, and he spilled it.
Yeah, the fact Tony Hearn and Chris Caruana there might have had something to, they'd have had something to say. But if he'd have taken it, he'd have gone very close to scoring, and Langer is the man causing the problems.
Grabbed at it like you going for your paycheck, Fatty. Great deal of gusto.
There's a penalty here from the scrum. Brisbane defence inside the required distance. Unfortunately, the ball nowhere near as big as Fatty's paycheck.
Taylor finding the line. Tell you what, I was surprised at your ability to spell try.
We'll just see how positive North Sydney are here. They have been moving the ball around nicely, taking the ball towards the middle, giving both sides of the field a look at it. They're only 4 points in front now, and they've had a couple of little setbacks, a couple of errors. They've got to be positive. They've got to keep moving this ball around.
Well, they're back on their 40-metre line, Phil, as they take this attacking raid up to the 30-metre line almost, and David Fairley plays the ball. It comes away, a second man play, and tackled in possession. Just trying to identify that player. It's out with Caruana now. I was about to call him Caruana.
It's Gavin Jones who hit the ball up. As Jason Taylor looks to go around Florimo, does so.
Here's the long ball that you're about to point out for us, landing in the arms of Hall. Hall looks free second. Pulled down 9 metres out.
Back to the left.
5 tackles indicated. Taylor will pass again. Larson puts the fend on. And North Sydney, they get their 3rd try. Well, the pass on the last is working for them.
It is indeed, and Jason Taylor going to the line. He's causing the kind of problems that Alan Langer is looking to do for Brisbane. Phil Gould pointed out, you can see not much defence on the left-hand side. It's staggered defence as well. Gary Larson, he got hit in a good tackle there, but he was able to bust through, straight through Chris John, straight through Kerrod Walters, and scored out wide.
Larson's having a whale of a game. The man he beats, Michael Hancock, that's 2 defensive lapses by him. One of the Australian wingers, he'll be on the tour for sure, but not good defence by Michael Hancock. And Gary Larson, what a game he's having. Jason Taylor's passing game. Let's not forget, of course, the run by David Hall in the ruck before.
And also, let's not forget, Julian O'Neill came up with a great tackle. It was a try saver on Hall. He was in under the posts. The only saving grace for the Broncos is this try again has been scored wide out. And very rare to see Jason Taylor has got none from 2. May well be none from 3.
Well, he's had 2 practices from this same spot. Be a brave man to bet against him here.
So you're saying he'll kick it, Phil?
You can back him out if you want it.
We've had enough of this illegal betting during the week, do you mind? Let's not cloud ourselves with any immorality. Now, I will have an even 50 though, if you don't mind. Here's Taylor from the sideline. None from 2. The kick. It's there. A beautiful kick by Taylor. 14-4. 29 gone.
Are we in thirds, Ray?
That's why he's a State of Origin coach, and this is why Jason Taylor is the key man. Realising that running the football on the last tackle was the option there, as it was earlier. Gary Larson, who's playing much wider than we've normally seen him, he's done a great job to get that try. And David Fairley now, there's the spring in the step. Almost makes it to the 20-metre mark.
Something about this Brisbane defence today, the North Sydney players are actually getting through the line. Brisbane are coming up to meet them, but they're not driving them backwards. It's fairly ineffectual defence so far today by the Broncos.
Soden away from dummy half, out to his 30-metre line. 14-4. We've had 4 tries scored. Norths have scored 3. Intercept by Glenn Lazarus. 22 out. A chance for Brisbane. 10 minutes from half-time. Across for Alan Langer. They look for Renouf and find him. He steps out of the tackle and is brought down about 18 metres out from the line. Madison's the dummy half. And away for Wendell Saylor. Saylor runs at Larson and Fairley. Fairley goes low. Larson over the top. They let him up last. And now it's Kerrod Walters for Alan Langer. And he cuts out Hone and goes for Kevin Walters. O'Neill shows it on the inside and then is pulled down. No gain in ground. They went across the park. Plenty of movement, but no forward gain in ground. This is Madison. Madison is put away on the 5th. And now will Brisbane take a leaf out of North Sydney's book?
Well, he's copped a heavy knock there in that tackle, Terry Madison. A really heavy hit there by David Fairley, who came in. And Madison is crook. He's round the leg, might be a cork, something like that, a crook knee.
Yeah, something to do with the leg, Paul.
I don't think it's his ankle. But look at Fairley come in and really gives him a real good one.
Well, the one thing this has allowed North to do on the last tackle is to get their defence set. Madison, he can't continue. We see Mario Fennick back on. Well, he's come to the sidelines. There he is there. Desperate to get back to the fray. And Kevin Walters has come to the left-hand side. Langer on the right.
Well, I thought they might have put it through the hands, and now the option goes to the kick, and they put it over the line with pinpoint accuracy. And it'll be North Sydney back out to the 20-metre line. David Hall doing a good job in both defence and attack. Fennick waits to come on. Madison is still on there. He makes the tackle. Gavin Jones comes off as Fenwick goes on, and this is Billy Moore. Moore put away, 35 out. Fenwick is on, Jones is off. And now Larson gives them a decoy to the blind for Taylor to work on the open, but he runs into a lot of Broncos. And Lazarus over the top of the weight of Andrew G, and Taylor going nowhere. And now across for Fenwick. Fenwick working out fairly wide by Mario Fenwick's standards. And he had a tremendous start to the game before being blood-binned. This is Hearn.
Madison has left the field. John Plathorn in jersey 14. Last tackle, Soden kicks out of the dummy half area behind Sailor and finds touch.
So an unhappy day for Brisbane continues to unfold. 3 tries to 1 down. The pain on the face of Terry Madison. And Alan Can, he's already there. He's out for the day, I'd say. Can, it looks the same thing for Madison. What do you think, Steve?
Yeah, a cork fight for Terry Madison. He was early in this game a bit slow to get back on side. He hasn't had much football over the last couple of weeks. Might be a bit of a godsend that they've sent Plath onto the field.
So Brisbane holding the ball in the scrum. Harrigan's call for a refeed, and Langer does that now. They do lock it in the scrum, and Harrigan points out to the back line of Norths to stay outside the 5. And Sailor goes up to be greeted by them and put away. Greeted by them, manhandled is the word. These Bears, they're grisly and they're very mean today. And here they are, Brisbane now with O'Neill. Put away on his own 20-metre line. Plath is on for Madison. And they're out now to the 30-metre line. And Peter Ryan has gone on for Gavin Allen. As Hone gets the pass away. He took plenty of defenders out, really. And now it's Kevin Walters back inside for John Plath, and he weaves between North Sydney. And he's tackled 41 metres out from his own line. We're looking at 6.5 minutes of the first half remaining as Kerrod Walters dives at the defence. And they bring him down with Hearn, the main tackler, on the 5th it is, as it goes across to Langer. And Langer puts the kick in, angling it back from the direction he was running. And Sean Hoppy comes away from his own line.
Well, I wouldn't recommend that tactic from any young player watching the game. He nearly made a spear tackle of it himself, leaping high into the defence, coming down very dangerously.
Chris Caruana then, he's taken low by Steve Renoff, and now Billy Moore hits it out to the 20-metre line. Ryan underneath. Kerrod Walters over the top, and Fenwick comes in and took one around the cheekbone. Mario not impressed, plays the ball quickly, and then it goes across for the kick off the boot of Taylor. And the ball going back towards the 20-metre line, not quite that far for Julian O'Neill. He'll take Hancock with him on the right of the ground, but takes the defence prior to all of that.
Well, we've got 5.5 minutes to go in this first half. If Brisbane can go in 10 point or less than 10 points behind, they'll be confident. On the other hand, North Sydney, they'll be certain they can go on with the job with that kind of lead at the break.
5 minutes of the first half remaining then as Hancock plays it. They go across to Glenn Lazarus, and Lazarus, the ball comes down. It goes to ground to be kicked through by Walters. And I was just waiting for a ruling there from Bill Harrigan. And it'll be interesting to see who he gives this feed to.
I think you'll find that Lazarus knocks the ball forward. There, the ball's gone forward, so this should be a North Sydney feed.
Yeah, I thought he might have thought that Tony Hearn actually knocked the ball down. He didn't see it that way, and Florimo goes on the blind. It's 2-on-1 over there, but Florimo comes away from it. 40 metres out from the Brisbane line. Brisbane did get some troops over there pretty quickly, and now Norths make a mistake, and Walters scoops the ball back along the ground for Glenn Lazarus to bring it out to the 30-metre line.
That was almost like Taylor hadn't decided what to do, whether to throw a cutout pass or a straight ball. In the end, the ball was too hard for North to take. And Sailor now, as a penalty goes to Brisbane.
40 metres out from the Brisbane line then. Langer just calling a little bit of calm. Sailor wanted to rush in and take a tap. And now they go about the tap-free duty, and this is Andrew G up to the 40-metre line.
Huge loss for Brisbane, Terry Madison. Not only for a lot of reasons, but simply because he does take a lot of pressure off Langer and Walters close to the line. With him off the field, North Sydney really only have to concentrate on those two players in their defence.
Well, another mistake by Brisbane. They appeal to the touch judge, as if to say, didn't you see this? And there's the play of the ball, and there's no reason to think that North Sydney caused it.
A few of the North Sydney players walking to the scrum looking at the clock too. They've got to forget about that. There may only 3 minutes to go, but sometimes this is the most vital period of the game. They've got to keep playing and not look at the clock. Just wait for the siren to go.
Well, Mario's coming off again to the butt bin. Doesn't he hate it? He just loves to look at him blowing up. He loves time on the football field. He's having a great game today too, Muzzer.
Craig Wilson coming on in jumper 41. 32 metres out then from the North Sydney line. 14-4, they're in front. And not often do you see that in the modern game, as the ball is played by the halfback, and Hoppy goes across. They're not as intense in defence as they can be, the Broncos. Too many players have either breached them or stood in tackles and offloaded and made second phase play possible near the halfway line. So Fairley has grabbed at it. So plenty of mistakes coming into the game from both sides as Brisbane play it on the halfway, and almost at half time they get a penalty now. Right in front, 40 metres out. Langer will take the tap. He does that and sends Andrew G up towards the 30-metre line. 2.5 minutes of the first half remaining. Gerard Walters to the blind, and it's with Peter Ryan, and Ryan is 25 out from the line. Again with Gerard Walters, and this is Lazarus crossing the 20-metre line, met by Larson and by Hearn, and now they're 12 out from the line.
And a crucial period of the game. 2 minutes to go. They've got a big line, Brisbane. Coming up to the half-time break, they're trailing by 10, and they're a chance here.
Johns it is, who's tackled just inside the 10-metre point. Into dummy half goes Renoff. A few tackles, at least 2 left on this set as it comes across for Langer. Langer pushes it on for John Platt. He shovels the ball down for Walters. Kevin Walters gets a pass away. Oh, Wendell Sailor! Sailor! He goes in to score. Beautiful pass by Langer, and a great angled run by Kevin Walters. And North, they couldn't wait till half-time. And Brisbane go in 14-8.
And they paid the penalty for handing the ball over to the opposition. Watch Kevin Walters get on the outside after some good work here from John Platt spinning. Now as he gets on the outside, as we freeze it there, 3 players have come in to make the tackle. Matt Sears comes in. There's Walters there. He keeps his arm free. Sailor comes back on the inside. But the fact that he drew 3 players meant that the try was going to be scored, and I was disappointed with the fact that they allowed Wendell Sailor to improve the position so much. Peter Louis will be very disappointed that they've made the kick for Julian O'Neill a little bit easier.
There's a magic play there by Kevin Walters. He's had a pretty good game today. Wendell Sailor puts the ball down and goes whooshka. See you later, Mark Soden. So Broncos, they fought hard. They haven't played well this first half, but they go into half time now. They might only be 4 points behind, with O'Neill about to have a shot at goal.
Really, the player there that showed the least amount of confidence in his winger and fullback, surprisingly, was their best defence man, Gary Larson. He was the one that could have dropped out of the pursuit of Kevin Walters. He showed, as I said, little confidence in the winger and fullback. It appeared to have Walters covered, and they did. Julian O'Neill, as the halftime siren sounds, I would imagine in the background, misses it. So Brisbane's goal-kicking problems, will they bring them undone in the ultimate analysis of this one? They trail 14-8. It's a game in which there's been 5 attempts at goal and only 1 success. North Sydney 14, Brisbane 8. We'll have the halftime summary for you in just a moment. Don't go away. Welcome back to the Sydney Football Stadium. Just waiting for the players to come back now for the second half of the elimination semi-final. Sudden death, and North Sydney leading Brisbane 14 points to 8. 3 tries to 2. Brisbane scoring their second try in the shadows of half-time. President's Cup today went to Eastern Suburbs over Illawarra. The Roosters continue on for at least another weekend, and St George defeated Canterbury 27-24. Talking of Canterbury, they'll be back tomorrow after their week's layoff to take on Canberra. A couple of interesting statistics coming out of finals played by both North Sydney and Brisbane. And you'll see there that North Sydney's finals record is not very impressive, about 1 in 4, whereas Brisbane only lose 1 in 4. But they're flirting with danger today, aren't they? And look at this record at the Sydney Football Stadium. Brisbane 14-3. Probably more interesting than both those statistics as North Sydney comes out is that Brisbane has only ever been behind at halftime once and come back to win this season. That was at ANZ against Canterbury when they trailed 4-2 and they came back to win. So Jason Taylor takes the Bears out for the second half. What a magnificent second stanza this promises to be. Now Brisbane, they've already lost Alan Cann and I guess Terry Madison probably for the remainder of the day. Steve Roach on the sidelines.
Yeah, obviously Coach Peter Louis happy about the Bears. He said he wants to see them go through a few more sets of hands, put a bit of pressure on the defence. He said, look, we'd have been a lot further ahead if we didn't make the 5 or 6 handling errors. Be a little bit more cautious with your offloads. He said, we've got to keep attacking Hancock's wing. We've scored 3 tries down there. In the Brisbane room, look, Wayne Bennett just said he didn't think the commitment was there that was with his team last week in defence and attack. He thinks a few of them will have to get a little bit more involved and a little bit more effort. And he said the big thing is got to lock up their ball carrier. They're standing in tackles and offloading the football far too much.
You're of the opinion, Steve, that the plan very much was to attack down Hancock's wing?
Yeah, for sure. They scored that 3 tries down there in the first half, North Sydney. And you notice too, every time Greg Florimo from a scrum wing runs around that blind side to Hancock's wing. So we'll see a lot more pressure put on there.
Okay, thank you, Steve Roach on the sidelines with that halftime report. And Lazarus it is that brings it back on the first tackle to start the new half. 14 points to 8, just a converted try, the difference. And Andrew G it is who's about to play the ball 30 metres out from his own line. They go across for Mark Hone, and Hone met by a very strong Greg Florimo tackle. And Fairley coming in over the top to secure it. Kerrod Walters goes away from dummy half. Kerrod coming back from that illness, as I pointed out earlier, viral meningitis. And I did ask the question, would he see the 80 minutes out? I guess he will. The way he's going quite strongly, but it would have taken plenty out of him. And this is Matt Sears now, working away from deep inside his own zone. And that's Peter Ryan over the top of Glenn Lazarus. And the plan, of course, is let your opponent up last, and very much so that is the case if you've got Glenn Lazarus lying all over the top of you. Hoppy plays it, and they go across to Fenwick. And Fenwick has had a checkered afternoon. He's been one of the prime movers in what North Sydney has done, but he's also made 2 visits to the blood bin. It's not a very happy Mario, and he's got very heavy taping on that right cheek at the moment. The ball goes bouncing back down to Julian O'Neill. He's been kept busy. He goes across to Saylor, but then decides to run away from him and come back to the other wing. And Hone it is that eventually makes the tackle. 28 metres away from the Broncos line, the defending premiers. Looking down the most dangerous barrel of the gun that I can remember for them in the last 4 years here at the Sydney Football Stadium. About 8 metres short of the halfway line, and the Broncos bring it away through Mark Hone, and they're probing for an opening. Playing it pretty close to their chest at the moment, but now for Langer and then for Kevin Walters, and Kevin almost in one side and out the other on the 5th tackle. Chris Johns across for Langer, and Florimo came out quickly to try and shut Langer down, but he just waited and then stepped around him to put that kick in. And this is Sean Hoppy that's tackled by Peter Ryan and over the top by John Plath.
Right, this is what I love about rugby league, semi-final football. It's all now a test of character. Brisbane, they've got a couple of injuries. They're the champions. They trail by 6 at half-time. And they've got to show those championship qualities to go on in this competition. North, sometimes the worst thing you can do is think about winning the football game. You just got to let it happen. It's going to be in the back of their minds that they can do something special here this afternoon.
Ivan Cleary's in a bit of trouble for North Sydney. He's having trouble getting some feeling in, I think, the right knee. Ivan Cleary, there he is, problems for him. But Norths are with the ball, and it goes from Taylor's boot down inside the 20-metre line for O'Neill. That Sailor on his left as he goes outside that 30-metre point and reaches the 40. That's a great run by Julian O'Neill. Backing up was Renoff. The ball forward.
Well, this is a big decision here by Bill Harrigan. Magnificent run by O'Neill, beating a couple of would-be's. Florimo is one of them. Beat another. Fairley came from behind, and this pass is the one that's adjudged to be forward. Nothing wrong with that pass.
No, absolutely nothing wrong with that pass. You're quite right, Paul. But North Sydney get the feed of the scrum just inside the Brisbane half and jot that point in the match down. It could prove to be a vital decision that has gone against Brisbane. It happened 3.5 minutes into the new half. Fennick tackled, 35 out from the Brisbane line. As they go across for Gary Larson. Larson scoring a try in the first half. He's had a fine match, Gary Larson. A minor blemish, I suppose, close to half-time. And now a perfectly directed pass by Taylor for Florimo. And Florimo plays it. It goes from Caruana to Taylor. Cleary. And then for Hoppy. Hoppy gets it back. And it's North Sydney now with Caruana keeping it alive. And Taylor goes down under the tackle. 5 gone. Soden a dummy half. Looking for a call. His playmaker's out of it. Sears comes in and takes the ball to ground. So a turnover.
Well, that was the problem. Jason Taylor played the football, and a couple of more problems. Greg Florimo is still down. Toshak has moved to the sidelines. Ivan Cleary has been struggling out there. Ray Warren pointed out he had picked up an injury. And you can't hand the football over to the opposition in their own 20-metre area without getting a boot to the ball.
So around Australia, we hope you're enjoying the semi-final coverage on the 9 network. Today, the sudden death between Brisbane and North Sydney, one of them not coming back. And Lazarus it is who's tackled 40 metres out from the Brisbane line. Of course, the match going live into Brisbane, and we hope you're enjoying it up there as Langer turns, but you're probably not enjoying it at the moment. 14-8 down, but you know they're a great side as it comes across on the 5th. The Langer to keep it low, and Sears gets the bounce. 15 out from his line. The Sox down with Matt Sears as he... Oh, and what a mistake to make.
Well, I thought
putting it down.
Remember Matt Sears threw the same sort of pass last week against Canberra and it proved costly. And here again, this pass didn't have to be thrown. I know that Hoppy was in space, but he was standing still. And that's the end result. So Brisbane, a great chance for them, 20 metres, attacking scrum for them.
Look, I don't mind that pass being thrown. If he does take that, Sean Hoppy. Kevin Walters was coming across, but he had an unmarked man on the outside, and here comes Mario for the 3rd time to the bin. But the thing is, the ball's gone to ground, and now Brisbane 20 metres out, 15 metres in. You will not get a better attacking opportunity than what we see here.
Just interesting, as Mario was ruled to go to the blood bin, he turned around and had another few words of encouragement to Matt Sears. Great senior player, Mario. He understands that he's got to put that out of his mind and get back to concentrating on the job at hand.
Just have a look at the line there from Brisbane. They're fanned back 30, 40 metres. Sailor even coming over, could get involved shortly. Julian O'Neill out wide, outside Chris Johns.
So it's away for Walters. The run around is on with Johns. Johns standing, but Cleary is there to meet him, and then they come charging in. So it's across now for the second play, and it's with Wendell Sailor, and there's just no way they're going through this North Sydney defence at the moment. Only early stages of the second half, and they've had a long time to get their defensive line set per medium of that blood bin on Fennick. 20 metres out from the North line. Kerrod Walters and Langer. Langer goes back towards the play the ball. He's put away. And that would be the 4th tackle as Kerrod Walters again throws the long ball out for Kevin Walters and across for Chris Johns. Renoff loomed on the outside, but 5 tackles are gone. Brisbane not quite getting it together the way they wanted, and now off the boot of Julian O'Neill, not really threatening. It's raked back by John Plath. Renoff has a chance, but it's gone forward.
Uncharacteristically poor set of 6 there from Brisbane. They had a little spread off the scrum base. Chris Johns caught with the ball. Then the next 2 play the balls were wingers with 1 out runs in the centre of the field. their best player, Steve Renouf, did not handle the ball in an attacking position the whole set of 6.
Oh, what a tackle by Lazarus.
Wow.
Tremendous hit by Glenn Lazarus on Chris Caruana. Hearn's pass was neat, it was tidy, and Moore plays it back for Soden to go across and dummy around the back of Fairley before giving Taylor the chance to kick, and it's a towering kick by Taylor. And O'Neill comes back to be greeted by, I was going to say the red and black jumpers, but they're predominantly white these days. 15 out, and Saylor, who got the try just in front of the halftime siren, is tackled. 14-8. North Sydney over Brisbane. 3 tries to 2. 5 attempts at goal, only 1 successful. And Hancock has had a day that he'll long remember. He plays it 30 metres out from his own line. And this pass goes lobbing along and bouncing along to Julian O'Neill. As Phil Gould just pointed out, there was a set of 6 in an attacking region that was uncharacteristically disorganised. And right now they look in a similar vein. In fact, on 5 tackles, they only came 25 metres out from their line. The kick comes back with Matt Sears, 18 from his line. He goes down looking at the blindside corridor, but he's pulled down by Kevin Walters in combination there with Chris Johns.
Well, Phil, when you have a look at the involvement of both Greg Florimo and Chris Caruana, you've got to say that Steve Renouf hasn't touched the football enough in this game anyway, let alone not just out in the attacking area.
No, he hasn't. I mean, it's not uncommon for him to be keeping himself fresh, but Brisbane, to me, at the moment, just aren't responding to the challenge. They've lost a couple of very key players in Madison and Cam, and when you take into account the fact that Gilmeister, I know he hasn't been there all season, these are the types of areas where those types of players are invaluable.
Oh, here's a problem for North. Oh, no, he's put it down. Oh, the Sailors put it overboard. He had the chance there, Phil.
Well, he did. He looked for all money as though he was going to spin out of this tackle and race away. Hasn't got it under control there. Just got a nudge from the player. And Bill Harrigan's given Brisbane the feed, so he's ruled that there was no advantage to the Broncos. Saylor never had the ball under control.
Just talking about Renouf, he came up with a great tackle there on Florimo, who held the ball too long. And here's Renouf involved now. Tried to get through. He's dangerous, isn't he? Nearly got through clearing Florimo.
But they're still bunching here, Brisbane, aren't they? I mean, they haven't got the formation they've always had. You can see them congregated around behind to play the ball. Yet another 1-out run. It's tackle 3. They've got no formation. Tackle 4. There's still no formation.
Bill Harrigan has called. Bill Harrigan's already called this tackle as being on the shoulder. Peter Ryan getting up slowly. Is he foxing for the penalty? According to Harrigan, he is. He took no notice of him at all. Lazarus, 35 out from the North Sydney line. Brisbane, plenty of numbers, and they are wide out this side, left of the ground. Kevin Walters working with Renouf. Renouf gets a pass away for Johns. Larson waits for him.
Yeah, well covered there by Gary Larson, the second row, coming over in defence.
Last tackle now for the Broncos. Across for Langer. To the air he goes again. And pressure for David Hall. He's been out-jumped by Hancock. That'll be the turnover, though.
Great tactic once again by Brisbane, trying to isolate David Hall, who's not the best jumper, or the highest player in the world. On that occasion, Mick Hancock rose above him, and nearly a Brisbane try.
Still very un-Brisbane-like. Very un-Brisbane-like. I mean, they took 4 rucks to work that play, 1 out across the field, had 1 real shot at them with Renouf, and then resorted to the kick. Brisbane, when they're at their best, are moving the ball around far better than that.
Not the best jumper or the highest player in the world. Oh, good defence there. John Platt driving in underneath. Craig Wilson now getting involved.
30-metre line on the screen. 5 gone. Back for Taylor. And Taylor getting it down over the head of Wendell Saylor. He comes around on this arc-like run. Out towards the 40-metre line. Larson waits for him with Cleary, who seems to have made a total recovery. And Kevin Walters is the dummy half, looking and finding Julian O'Neill, and he's pulled down by Craig Wilson. Over the top was Tony Hearn. They keep coming on this wrap to the right, and then Langer tries to put Andrew G back on the inside. G put away 48 metres out from the North Sydney line.
And the longer this second half goes, the better the tactic. A field goal from the Bears, put them 7 clear. That's Lazarus taking it inside 40 metres. They can get down the other end and they don't score in 5. I would imagine Taylor would set himself.
Well, there's the pass from dummy half. This was the play they were working for, and it went sadly wrong. O'Neill to play it on the 5th now, and away from dummy half goes Kevin Walters. The rebound comes off North Sydney, and Harrigan halting play and ruling a knock on. Well, must have been hands involved here somewhere. Yes, it did. It came off the hand of Greg Florimer.
Well, he's actually knocked on twice there. If not the first time, which was accidental, the second time as he tried to retrieve the ball was propelled towards the opponent's goal line.
The interesting point about that ruling is, in the event of a charge down, if the ball is rising off the foot, there is no such thing as a knock-on. So he obviously ruled that it wasn't a charge down. That's all I can deduce from that, but it's a very interesting ruling in the game, as it comes away for Mark Hone to take it up to the 30-metre line.
One thing that may play into North Sydney's favour is the fact that Mario Fennick is getting plenty of rest through this blood bin. Normally he's an interchange player and it takes up replacement values, but Peter Louis still going to have a lot of replacements left up his sleeve, where Brisbane don't. They're running out of replacements.
So Chris Johns plays the ball on the far side of the park. Running across to the left of the ground. I would have thought he would have linked up with a winger, but that winger must have come back into the line in the centre, and it is Wendell Saylor who wasn't out there waiting for Chris Johns. He was back waiting for this play, but now he's gone back to where the ball went earlier, and now Langer puts it high. It's really a nothing-looking kick, and now Matt Sears knocks on, so Brisbane come back with it, so they got 6 more tackles. 18 metres out from the North Sydney line, and young Sears might rue the decision to fly above the pack and take the risk of making the knock on. Brisbane on the first tackle, now the second. G inside for Lazarus. Lazarus is put down. Langer starting to mount his troops. He wants Renouf to the right. Renouf has now gone to the right. Langer and the run around with Walters. Now it's out for O'Neill. O'Neill, or Walters it is, who's tackled. 9 metres out from the line. Kerrod Walters the dummy half. Then away for Langer. Langer goes back, puts the ball up there for O'Neill, but it's with G and then bounces over towards Saylor's wing. And again, Brisbane make a meal of it.
Well, I mean, territorially, it's all Brisbane, but they can't get over the line, and Hoppy makes a great run. He's still going. So great football, North Sydney, to come back from that. They're on a roll now, North. David Fairley hits one up.
Listen to the crowd really getting behind the Bears, because they've been in slumberland or been under siege for the better part of the second half.
Well, they're on a roll, the Bears, because they held the Broncos out for 3 sets of 6 in a row. Not many teams can do that. That's got to be a confidence builder as Wilson shapes to dummy, goes over the top of Langer, rounded down by Mark Hone. I still think the field goal sometime at the end is the play. That's not the play.
Taylor rolls it in behind them. The Broncos have a chance. They've got it. Billy Moore couldn't get his hand on it. Look out for Saylor. He's tackled 38 metres out from his line. Messages going out to the Brisbane side. Big defence. 14-8. Andrew G, a jolting hit on Florimo. Then O'Neill, now Kevin Walters. And Kevin looks inside for the runner, but it's not there today. Galia has gone on. Kerrod Walters has come off. This is Galia. Right on the halfway line. So Johnny Plath would move up in the scrum. 5 tackles gone. Brisbane, normally you would say 14-8 down, they could still be very confident, but the way they're playing, it doesn't instill confidence into the fans, as Renouf is beaten by Hoppy, who reaches the 20-metre line.
But that is the thing, Ray. They are still only 6 points behind.
Matt Sears going one way, then changed his mind. Billy Moore is the man with the ball now, 30 out from his line. And Ivan Cleary with a short pass up. Played by David Fairley. It goes across now for Hearn, and Hearn a couple of metres on his own side of the halfway point. Soden waiting for a call. Hears it from Taylor. Taylor goes to the defence line. Ah, trouble! Renoff! Here's Sears again with a miraculous tackle.
Could be a match saver. Matt Sears ran off in the clear and Sears cutting down.
Well, you all saw it the other day with Brett Mullins, and here he is again doing something similar. Maybe not as extravagant that time, but Langer is put down 28 metres out from the North Sydney line, and Johnny Plath goes in to take on the dummy half duties. And he takes it up inside the 20-metre line. They're valuable metres. Mark Soden making the tackle. They come away for Lazarus to put his frame into the defence, and Lazarus, he's put down 5 metres out. They look for a quick play of the ball. It goes from O'Neill to Kevin Walters and then to Peter Ryan. Ryan gets it back, and Kevin Walters, he gets the try. That'll be the equaliser after the conversion.
You can't keep defending against Brisbane. You give them opportunities. Eventually, they'll get the ball over the line. We go back to the Jason Taylor pass. Just tried to be a little bit too fancy. Renoff looked like he'd score. Sears came up with a try saver. Florimo couldn't come up with the tackle on Peter Ryan. And Kevin Walters supporting, bringing the ball around, trying to make it easier for Julian O'Neill, but they've been down that end of the field, the Bears, too long.
Kevin Walters, whenever he's had the football in his hands today, there's been trouble for North Sydney, and here he is again, setting up and then finishing this very nice Brisbane try to get them within a couple of points of North Sydney. North cannot get out of their own half in this second half today. Too many mistakes, and they've given Brisbane far too much possession. And really, with all the defence they're doing, it's eating up plenty of power for them. Makes you wonder how much juice they'll have left in the last 10 or 15.
Julian O'Neill then. Practically right in front. None from 2. I guess in the pressure of a sudden death semi, even here, there is pressure for any goal kicker. O'Neill strikes it sweetly, and there it is. The scoreboard is level. 14 points all. Madison with the feet up. 59 minutes gone. One hour gone. As Taylor starts for the Bears, 14 points all. Lazarus. Second tackle on the first set of 6 following Brisbane's try. Scored by Kevin Walters. And 14 points all to score, as Galia is put away 32 metres out from the Brisbane line. And Fennick, I see, comes back to the sideline down there for another entry into the game. Mario Fennick, he had that cheek heavily taped as he went out for the second half. I fancy somebody might have ripped it off to get rid of Fennick out of the game again for a period of time. 5 tackles gone for the Broncos as they come back for the kick off the boot of Alan Langer. And he very seldom has he digressed from the kick, Alan Langer, today. Taylor has been happy to push it through the hands, but Langer has stayed on the boot for the major part of the day.
And just as we saw Steve Renoff's try lift this side against Manly last week, that try from Kevin Walters has done the same thing. Immediately, the formation of the Brisbane team is far better. Their kick chase was great. Gary Larson leaves the field. North Sydney really have to dig deep here because the opposition are coming.
Leading the tackle count as he leaves the field, Gary Larson, 32 tackles, Fairley 30 just behind him.
The point should have been stressed to North Sydney at half-time, Ray, that 14 points wasn't going to be enough to win the game. They had to go out with an attitude they had to score again to win. That being the case, they wouldn't be unfazed by the 14-all scoreline. They knew they had to score again to win anyway. It's just got it down to a sudden death situation, and North Sydney don't want to go negative. They want to keep pushing the ball to the edges the way they started the game. If they play negative, just play out sets of 6 and kick the ball, Brisbane will have too many shots at them and will get the game winner.
So Brisbane now with John Plath calling the shots from dummy half, and Galia bumped away from Mark Soden.
left him lying there and takes the play within 28 metres of the North Sydney line. Gailey looked up at the referee as if to say, are we going to get a penalty? But no was the answer, and Plath it is on tackle 5, who plays it only 15 out from the line. Langer is dangerous, puts a little kick in himself. He'll score, will he? No, North Sydney clean up. Oh, gee, that was very close.
Well, David Fairley's the man who saves the situation here for North Sydney. Great little kick by Alf. No one home, and Fairley. That's why he's a Rothmans medalist.
I think the posters saved North Sydney there, because if Alan Langer had have dived for that ball like the North Sydney player, he risked going headlong into the pylon, where the North Sydney player coming from the opposite direction didn't have any impedance. That goalpost there just might have saved North Sydney a try.
Hancock now goes back to the defence line. He's met and put away 22 metres out from the North Sydney line. Familiar territory for the Bears. They've really been camped down here for the entire second half. 14 points all, and Plath serves it up for Lazarus. Lazarus is down to the 10-metre line. So the Broncos mounting another attacking play. Langer letting Plath go to the centre of the ground. He loses the ball, so that's a let-off for North Sydney.
Yes, put that down as another changing point in the game. John Plath getting out from dummy half, and that's been disappointing for North in this second half. Their marker defence. And punched the ball out there as Gavin Jones comes back into the fray. Tony Hearn leaves the field. Wouldn't North Sydney love a break here to get down the other end?
Let's go down to the sideline, take a comment from Steve Roach.
Yeah, just going back to the Brisbane Bronco try, isn't it amazing how players can pull something out when they need adversity? Great charge by Glenn Lazarus and the quick play of the ball. That was why the try was scored. His runs in the middle of the ruck in the second half have been outstanding.
Yeah, you remind me of a comment made on the Footy Show, I think on Thursday night, by Phil Gould, where he made the point the class players, the origin players, the test players in Winfield Cup, they come to the surface and they dominate more at this time of the year than any other players. And we're seeing that unfold today. Fairley is tackled. We saw it last weekend. I've got no doubt we'll see it tomorrow. As it goes across for Taylor. Taylor sending it down for Julian O'Neill to get a favourable bounce this time, and there he goes, the full-back out beyond the 40-metre line.
Again, in that set of 6, Ray, Jason Taylor didn't get involved. Earlier in the first half, he was pushing his runners to the edge of the ruck, and that was causing Brisbane problems. They were coming out of trouble there, and I don't think Jason Taylor handled the ball till tackle 5. That's not going to be good enough to win North Sydney enough ground to compete.
So Mark Hone crosses the halfway line. He's leapt upon by Mario Fennick. And now Lazarus doing plenty of work out there, Glenn. I'm just looking at his hit-up count. 16, and keep in mind that he didn't start the game. And he actually leads the hit-ups for the Broncos by a very big space, Glenn Lazarus. It goes across for Langer now. He leaves the 40-metre line behind him and then puts the kick in quite purposely down for Ivan Cleary. And Cleary looks up, and there's a very good chase on that from the Broncos. 6 of them were in a straight line waiting for them. 15 minutes of the match remaining and 14 points all. Of course, when it comes down to field goals, North Sydney, if they can get down the other end of the park, they've got one of the very best in Jason Taylor. Gavin Jones.
Well, so far in this half, Jason Taylor has kicked the ball on the 4th or 3rd tackle each time. They haven't waited till the 5th. And I think it's been a mistake. They need more time with the football, even the one more tackle to take up 20 or 30 seconds.
But also the difference, Paul, is that this North Sydney attack is not working the opposition in defence now. The last 3 times they've had the football, they haven't strung together more than one pass. That's Mark Soden kicking out, Jason Taylor not getting in position that time, but they're not making the opposition work in defence.
Sailor brought down by an ankle-tapping tackle from Greg Florimo.
They haven't come up with a penalty in this half either, Peter, which is something they were able to do by keeping the pressure on the defence in the first half. Quick dummy half runs, move the ball to the edge. Brisbane unable to get back, and that was relieving a lot of pressure for them too. They haven't forced a penalty out of Brisbane yet.
Andrew G then, about 5 metres away from the halfway line, and 14 points all as Hancock, one of many players who just appears to have lost his footing out there today. Maybe it is a touch breezy following a deluge particularly in the eastern suburbs last night. It goes across for Langer and then pushed on for Kevin Walters. They try to get outside, and that's a great tackle by Cleary, but Renouf was able to bounce up and pass for Walters.
Oh, what a pressure tackle there by Cleary. Renouf on the outside of any other player, he might have run on and scored.
Langer now putting it down into the corner. That won't be hard for them to defend on, and Sears gets up and runs back into the field of play, realising that was his job in the main, and now they come away from their own try line again. The second tackle has just expired, and Ivan Cleary plays it. 67 minutes gone, 14 points all, and going to ground is Gary Larson, who's back in the battle, and away from dummy half, David Hall. That's what they needed, and that's the fourth tackle now.
Yes, but the pendulum is swinging. They're growing in confidence, Brisbane, as Soden throws a poor pass out. The chip from Wilson,
Wilson got a hand to it, so if Brisbane come up with it, it's the advantage, but that is not the case, so the scrum will go down. That was the fourth tackle, and here it is. Craig Wilson has gone within an inch of getting it, and there was support coming on both sides. Hoppy for one.
But again, the ball is handed over to Brisbane in pretty good position. 45 metres out, the big line is again set. Julian O'Neill looking to get involved.
I wonder, will it be on this attacking raid that they will go for the drop goal? They've had all the opportunities, of course, until they deadlocked us at 14 points all. It wasn't worth doing, but this might be the one.
I think the Bears are ready to be busted here, Ray. I think they'll try and score the try, Brisbane. They won't look to kick a field goal until the last 8-10 minutes.
Okay, so Andrew G, 40 metres out from the North Sydney line. They're not really making much ground, and they've used up half their tackle count as Lazarus goes to ground. 33 metres away from the North Sydney line. The Bears desperate to get the ball down the other end of the park, but they haven't hardly seen it, as Walters with a face pass across for Johns, and Johns is taken out of it by Greg Florimo. I tell you what, if they do get beaten, it won't be his fault. His defence today has been outstanding. Langer's high kick going down towards the touchline. It came off Sailor and went to ground to be dived on by the Bears, and here they are now just inside their 20-metre line with Sean Hoppy. Galia wrapping him up with Peter Ryan. Soden away. They cut out Fennick and find Larson.
A penalty in this set of 6 just might win the game for North Sydney. They've got to get up and put some pressure on Brisbane.
Fennick. Plenty of numbers on his outside, but taking the tackle. That's where they're at, just in their own side of the half. Taylor with the run around, and then for Florimo, and Florimo put away, but the tackle has hurt Renouf. Renouf's in Disneyland, I think, as they go to the right, and Taylor keeps it low. The bounce, and Sailor starts to get those big legs working as he crosses the 20-metre line. Took 3 defenders in with him. O'Neill gets through one, but Larson and Fennick, they eat him up in defence.
Renouf is still down, receiving attention in back play, as Langer calls the football to the open side. Dummies to Walters, finds Chris Johns. He's taken by Caruana.
Mark Hone. Fennick throwing himself into the game. Larson likewise. They're 10 metres on their own side of halfway, Brisbane. And now they reach that point. Both teams noticeably tiring. North Sydney, of course, tiring through the drain of defence. Johns, he's taken by Caruana. Hancock is wrapped up by David Hall. And 5 tackles gone as Kevin Walters gives it on. Langer comes back towards the blind side, gets a kick in. It came off the feet of Billy Moore. He gives the pass to a Bronco, and they come back with it.
Well, just when they got a break, North Sydney, the pass, and surely, was he offside, Peter Ryan?
It's with John Plath now, 20 metres out from the North Sydney line. And now Andrew G. G is only 9 metres out from the line. Plath goes to the left for Kevin Walters, and then Renouf puts it down. Sears comes away, and he's pulled down 9 metres out from his own line.
Well, the defence of Greg Florimo and Ivan Cleary out there has been unbelievable. Renouf got crunched there. It was a tough break against the Norths. But we're into the 10-minute mark now, 8 minutes to go. Really, it's all Brisbane at the moment.
Just getting back to that question you asked me in run of play, Paul, I didn't have time to answer you. He has ruled that Billy Moore has played at the ball, and that, of course, puts everybody on side. But the question is, did he play at the ball? But that's the way he's made his decision, as Taylor puts the ball down inside the 10-metre line, and Julian O'Neill starts to bring it back.
And Adrian Toole is on for North City, coming up with that tackle, along with Caruana. Mark Soden has left the field. We have another Brisbane player leaving the field now.
Yes, that is Glenn Lazarus who's coming off, and Kerrod Walters prepares to come back on. So Lazarus off, Kerrod Walters on, and we've got 7 minutes and 22 seconds remaining as Mark Hone is put away.
I'll tell you what, regardless of what happens here, this has been a great North City performance, as gutsy as I've seen for a long time. Defensively, they've been great. Alfie trying to weave some magic there, and Caruana pulls him down.
Away now from Kerrod Walters, a dummy half, back inside for his brother, then back for Langer, the Ipswich connection, and they're on the halfway line. 5 tackles gone, a comment from Steve Roach.
Yeah, a bit of worry for the Brisbane Broncos. Glenn Lazarus comes off clutching a groin. He's got a groin injury, Lazo.
O'Neill puts it out on the full. Great opportunity now for the Bears to get it down for Jason Taylor to put the drop goal over. Larson uses Fennick. Fennick on for Adrian Toole. Taylor is the man to watch for. Billy Moore on the second. 39 out from the Brisbane line. Craig Wilson. Now they're 30 out. That's
Jason
the
Taylor's
third.
ready now.
Taylor's I thought he was ready for it, but Fennick has tackled. Taylor, he's over to the left. They're pointing at him. Walters, I don't know whether he was directly behind. Taylor goes for the shot. Taylor, he's got it. Taylor, he's got it. North Sydney lead by a point.
Well, that's coolness under pressure. Brisbane knew it was coming. We all knew it was coming. And he stepped back inside and got away a great kick there. Straight between the posts.
Well, nothing phases Jason Taylor. He's potted field goals at Campbelltown, Bruce Stadium, anywhere you like. And here we are in a pressure situation, easy as you like in a semi-final, a sudden death semi-final.
It's not over yet, though. 5 minutes and 20 seconds remaining. And North Sydney leading by a point as McDavid Fairley thunders outside the 30-metre line. As Caruana goes into dummy half. The Premiers, are they about to suffer their first defeat at headquarters in 4 years? Will they not be here to defend their premiership? It's looking increasingly so. 4 minutes and 50 seconds to go. As Caruana, who can play hooker and dummy half, gets involved close to the ruck.
Well, Taylor's got to try and get into the in-goal area or find touch to take up time.
He puts it high, and O'Neill comes up from the deep and puts it down.
It's
a
not
knock
gone.
on against Brisbane. North Sydney will have the feed and the loose.
And the Bears fans are up in arms here. They've gone berserk. They love it. Mistake by the Broncos.
The face that tells it all.
Mario Fennick getting more attention. Could be another blood bin here. That's got to be a record. 4 in one game.
Well, Mario's trying to find some blood now.
Yeah, well, fortunately, he's got no looks to lose, Mario.
A very attractive man. There he is.
This wasn't a case of the referee going to the player. This was a case of the trainer calling to the referee and saying, listen, I got a player that deserves the blood bin. It's all been a case of just giving North a chance to get it set. Don't think that Mario's been anything other than the meat and the sandwich here. Florimo. Great game from Greg Florimo today. 10 metres out from the line. The Bears lead by a point. 4 minutes to go. Billy Moore. Taken by the Broncos.
winners of the premiership in 92 and 93. They're down by a point, and Adrian Toole puts it down. So the Broncos will get one of their last chances, if not their last.
Well, Adrian Toole, he hasn't been out there long, and he had to catch that football. Very ordinary effort there. They'll be looking for something special in defence now. Glenn Lazarus, he knows the writing's on the wall, but he'll know that his side, out of any team in the competition, is capable of getting out of this.
O'Neill uses Renouf. Renouf, the danger player. 20 metres out from his line. The other player that could run the length of the field and score for them would be Saylor. Now they get it away for Langer. Langer on for Walters. Walters away for Hancock. Hancock gets outside the 30-metre line. 3 minutes to go. 15-14. Hancock. There was a mark. No, he's given the penalty. He's given the penalty to Brisbane. So they get another chance. Hancock just warned by Harrigan, leave me to referee. Been a very interesting last minute and a half. Hancock's got a bit of blood over the eye there. As they take the tap, they don't worry about finding the line. They go along the line. They're looking for Renouf, and it's with Chris Johns, his centre partner. 2 minutes and 28 seconds to go. Centre of the park, halfway line, and this is Galia.
The inside men are the important people for North Sydney in defence here. As Mark Hone takes the ball up, would they be prepared to kick a field goal if they can't score in 5? They'll go for the try now. And there's Walters out of dummy half. Great tackle, Adrian Toole.
So Kerrod Walters plays the ball. Julian O'Neill smothered by David Fairley and Craig Wilson.
This is the last. It's 10 minutes either way. If it's a draw here, Kerrod Walters throws the ball back the other side. He's got time.
Kevin's kick is wide. No goal. No goal. 15-14 the Bears.
Well, Alfie Langer was the man who set himself for the kick, but there were 2 or 3 Brisbane players in his road. He couldn't get the ball. Kevin Walters under pressure, trying to get the equaliser. Foromo's off to the blood bin.
Sean Hoppy it is that'll play the ball just inside his 30-metre line. The Bears by a point with 1:22 to go. All they have to do is soak up the last. Oh, they've lost the ball. Brisbane have got the ball back. And out they go for Langer. He puts the step on. He beats 2 of them. It's with Big Galia. Galia takes it to ground. 21 metres out. A minute to go in the game. Galia plays it. It comes away from Kevin Walters. Andrew G puts his head down and burrows into them. 50 seconds to go. It's away from Walters. Langer goes for the drop goal. It hardly rises off the ground. And therein is the exit of the Premiers.
Well, Alfie Langer, I thought he rushed the whole thing there on the 3rd tackle. They had plenty of time. Could have worked in a bit closer to the post. He went for the very hard angle. And now North Sydney, they advance. Unless they lose the ball, something happens.
20 metres out from their own line. The ball being played by Hearn. And as you can see, just a matter of seconds. All they need to do is play it slowly, without mistake, and they go through to play in the final. And there it is. Mario Fenech leaves the benches. It is over. For Brisbane, a magnificent reign at the top comes to an end. Greg Florimo, magnificent. 15-14 to the Bears. A drop goal breaking the deadlock. Taylor the man, Fenech, he knows that. And a disappointed Brisbane Broncos leave the park. A park that has been great for them. Unbeaten in 4 years. A 14-3 record in finals. But today they drop out of the 1994 battle. 15-14 by 1 point. The Grizzly Bears of North Sydney advance to play the loser of tomorrow, Canberra and Canterbury, in the final leading up to the grand final in a fortnight's time.